Windy City Nation, welcome to the Windy City Hoops podcast. I'm your host, Joe Kessenich. Got a fantastic second episode of the pod today. We'll have Windy City Bulls broadcasters Ryan Fahey and Chris Rouse talking a little about the Bulls' recent matchup with Raptors 905, as well as Windy City Bulls' season thus far. Bulls are off to a 1-4 start. A little rocky with their best player out, Tyler Ulis. He'll be back with the team soon. But first, I was able to catch up with the second leading scorer on the Windy City Bulls, Mychal Mulder, out of Kentucky. Mychal was kind enough to join us, touch on a few topics relating to his experience with the G League and his thoughts on where the league's headed. We're joined by Mychal Mulder, sharpshooting guard with the Windy City Bulls. Mychal, thanks for taking the time to join the Windy City Hoops podcast today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So the Bulls are getting ready to take on the Capital City Go-Go tonight, new G League franchise. What do you guys know about the Go-Go that can help you grab a win tonight?
We watched some film on them, obviously, in the past couple of days. I know that they're an efficient scoring team from the wing spot. They like to play fast, things like that. But mostly, we focus on us, our game plan, and what we got to do going into the game to ensure that we can come out with a victory. Okay, I know G League travel can be an interesting experience. What do you do on the road to keep yourself fresh and ready to go for the road games? For the road games, it's basically you just handle the travel days as they are, make sure you're getting good food in your body and staying with your nutrition. But other than that, we do our shoot-arounds, and we have a few team meetings, maybe watch some film to prepare for our game coming up.
Great. So I know the team's a few games into the season, but I want to go back, ask about the offseason real quick. What did it entail for you? Was it all work, or did you have some time to relax as well in the offseason?
The offseason was great. We were just short of the playoffs last year, so it started a little bit early for me. It was a little longer of an offseason than I was used to coming out of college. Obviously, I was used to going back for summer school and having those type of workouts, but being able to spend that time at home, work with my trainers, and spend time with family, it was pretty valuable for me. I feel like we got a lot of valuable work done in the offseason. Yeah, absolutely. So you're back in Canada in the offseason? Yeah, I spent a lot of time back in Windsor and Toronto, places like that.
All of us in Windy City Nation are definitely excited that you're back as a leadership part of this team. You were off to a fantastic start, 16 points, 5 boards a game, and red hot from outside the arc. Obviously a lot of changeover from last year's roster. Was it locked in right away that you'd be back with the Bulls this year, or how did that process play out over the summer?
Over the summer I was in touch with our coaching staff and the guys in the office, and I knew that I would be coming back for training camp. You know that no spot is secure, and knowing that, got to come in ready to make sure that I make the team in the first place. And but other than that, I just really wanted to come back to bring some leadership to the new guys on the team, maybe some of the rookies who were looking for some leadership. I'm only a second-year guy, but I know that transition from college to pro was quite a different experience last year. So whatever I could do for these guys to make it a little bit easier on them, I feel like would be a positive experience for them. But I was really excited to be back with the Bulls. Have an opportunity to be back with Coach Henry and Cargo and meet some of the new coaching staff. So it's been a pretty good experience for me so far.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that of you too. Just knowing the team so well and knowing the experience of the G League, did the coaches ask you to take on that leadership role with the new guys and kind of bring about the chemistry with the new guys on the roster?
Yeah, absolutely. I know that Coach Henry expects a lot of energy out of me. He says it starts with me on the defensive end, and I know that can be a contagious thing for basketball players. So I try to bring that to practice and to the floor every day. Try to bring some enthusiasm on and off the court, as well as some leadership stuff. So I was excited that Coach would expect that from me and ask that of me, and it's a good thing for us.
Yeah, you guys had a great start in that first game against the Magic. It looked like the chemistry was coming together really quickly. Dropped a couple since then, but how do you feel like everybody is gelling together this year as compared to last year?
I feel like everybody gels well. I felt like we gelled well last year. It took us a while to hit our stride, and we kind of started the year on a rough start last year, and we're kind of chasing 500 the whole year. So hopefully, I don't anticipate that to be the case this year. We don't want to have a slow start. We dropped our last 2, but hopefully we can bounce back from that. Take it as a learning experience and get a W today. But I feel like we meshed really well. We have a great point guard play in Tyler. Obviously, I was fortunate enough to have him at Kentucky with me for my first year there. So, and also obviously following him in his role
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler's off to a great start as well and looked good. So how do you compare those strengths and weaknesses of this year's squad to last year?
I feel like last year we were a pretty young team. Sometimes we just weren't making the right play, and it went kind of down the line. Like if one of us didn't make the right play, I feel like that kind of got contagious as well. So sometimes it would look like we just didn't have so much chemistry. But I feel like this year, with Tyler, who's had a couple of years in the league and knows how to really vibe with guys and play to their strengths and weaknesses, and really make people look good at what they do and what they do best. I feel like that's been a really key thing for us. We were fortunate enough to have Archie last year, and really happy for him to get a spot on the Bulls there, as well as Antonio Fahey. So, but it's great to have Tyler and Raleigh in our two-way spots, and really have some experience out of Tyler in the point guard role. I feel like it really starts with him.
Yeah, you've been following those guys, Archie and Blakeney, as they're getting things going with the Chicago Bulls this year. I know that's a big thing with the organization as far as guys coming down to watch you in Hoffman Estates, and you guys go on to the United Center as well.
Yeah, it was great. It's been great watching them develop. I was really happy to see that they landed their spots on the roster this year. Obviously, I'd love to have those guys back beside me on the court every day, but I'm really excited for them to be able to advance their careers, and it's been great to watch. I've been really keeping up with them. I see Archie getting a lot more minutes, and as well as AB. So, it's great to watch them excelling at that next level, and really embracing that role on the team, and just showing that they belong there. Obviously I know them, and I know that they belong every day. But it's great to see them playing so well, and seeing that not just me and coaches in the front office sees that, but the fans are really appreciative of what they bring to the court every day. So it's been awesome to watch them excelling in their roles as well. Absolutely.
So obviously the coaching staff and the organization well by now. How have they helped you grow your game since you began in the G League?
It's been great. I was very fortunate to have the coaching staff I had last year, and being able to get Coach Henry and Targo back this year has been great. Coach Henry kept in touch with me throughout the off season, seeing how my workouts were going, seeing how I was doing mentally. Just stuff on and off the court. I feel like that's one of my favorite things about Charlie is that I really do believe that he cares about us as individuals, and he really does want to see us go on to that next level, and he wants to do everything in his power to see that happen. As well as JP, Targo, he's a great mentor to have, not just from a coaching standpoint. Obviously, he spent a long time in the league, and he knows the X's and O's, but just a great mentor to have off the court as well. Just showing guys, like me, who are new to it, how to be professional, how to carry yourself, and the work ethic that you got to have at this level. Knowing that guys in the G League, everybody wants to get out, and everybody wants to have an opportunity to advance their careers, and having a guy like Targo who spent so many years in the league, I feel like that's a great thing for us, and something I'm really trying to use to my advantage.
So I know your dad is a huge influence in your life as well. How has he helped you in your growth professionally and personally toward your dream of getting to the league?
Yeah, he's a big influence for me. It starts when I was young. He hasn't missed a game since I was a little kid, and
wow.
Just knowing that I have that constant support. He's driven countless hours through my JUCO years, through Kentucky years, and after here. You'll see him often on the sidelines and stuff like that, and he doesn't say too much. He's never been a guy that really be cheering me on like verbally or nothing like that. He just kind of sits and watches. I remember being young, and he wouldn't say too much other than Mike, I saw you not running hard, and basically if you're not going to hustle, I'm not going to bring you yours. I just feel like he's really instilled a work ethic in me, and just a mental toughness. From that mental toughness aspect, I feel like I'm able to translate that onto the floor. He's faced a lot of adversity in his life, and he's really worked through it, and is mentally tough, and I feel like that's just something that he expects from me, and he's instilled in me, and I'm trying to continue to carry that throughout my life, on and off the floor. So I feel like it's been a huge influence, and I really appreciate that out of him.
Absolutely. So that quiet confidence, he was never the dad who was yelling in the stands that you had to settle him down in the stands?
No, if he was yelling at me, it was probably because I missed class or something when I was younger, He was more likely to yell at me for something like that than something I did on the court. And, no matter what I did on the court, if I was playing well or if I was playing poorly, he just kind of sat there and crossed his arms and watched. And he basically knew that I knew he was evaluating me on not just my ability to score the ball or my ability to play defense. He was basically evaluating me on my ability to be tough, how to hustle, the intangibles that some players don't go all the way to do. I know that he was evaluating those things from me, so that was great as well. I also had that on the other side from my mom. Those two are like night and day when it comes to character. Wise, they're two pretty different people. My mom's more likely to say some positive things to me, and if I have something negative to say about myself, my mom never sees those things. So it's good to have that from both sides. I got the one side with my mom who's very gentle with me and calm and collected, and then my dad who knows that he's a little bit more hard on me, and he's way more verbally likely to speak up and tell me what he thinks I'm doing wrong. So I'm really lucky to have both of them.
Absolutely, yeah. You can see those influences out on the court every night. Well, last thing I wanted to get to, Michael, talking about that transition, the G League implementing the new rule to allow players to come straight from high school and be under contract with the team, be able to profit off their likeness right away. What are your takeaways from that new rule that they're implementing, and how do you think that will impact the G League?
Obviously that won't have a direct impact on me, obviously, but I think that that's good for younger guys who have the opportunity. I know that I'm from Kentucky, so the one and done thing obviously is something that I'm accustomed to and I've seen a lot. But I feel like that's a positive thing as well. I'm not sure what the league standpoint is on it. If they think that guys are maybe coming out too early and not being ready, and maybe that's the direction that they're looking in. But I think it's good. I feel like obviously guys who are big name guys going into the NCAA and not being able to receive any benefit off of that, and all the money that's made by the NCAA from their likeness, they don't see a check out of that, and I feel like it's a great opportunity for guys like that who really do have that chance to make money off their likeness to be able to do so, because in some situations these guys need it a little bit more. Obviously, I've seen it on both ends of the spectrum, where guys who maybe didn't need it and could wait until they went pro to receive that check. But I've also seen it in a situation where guys' moms really need to pay the rent and they can't do it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
being able to provide for their family a little bit earlier, I don't see anything wrong with that, and I'm really happy for those guys who may need that opportunity to be able to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Especially coming out of Canada, what do you think you would have done if you were presented with that option coming out of high school? What do you think you would have chosen to do?
It's really hard to call that. I'm not really sure what I would have done coming out of high school because my situation was a little bit different. I was a little bit less recruited, obviously, coming out of Windsor. If I would have lived 5 minutes in a different direction in Detroit, maybe it's a little bit different. And
Right.
A couple hours down to Toronto, maybe that's obviously a little bit different as well. But with me, I wasn't very heavily recruited out of high school. Knowing JUCO was a route that I was going to take probably. I'm not really sure what decision I would have made, but all I can say really is now I couldn't be happier with the decision I made to take the junior college route. I went to Vincennes for 2 years, and I had Coach Franklin and Coach Davis, who were so tough on me and had such high expectations for me, as well as the rest of my guys that we didn't have for ourselves. So, as a JUCO guy, going in, I basically had expected, I could probably play JUCO and then probably end up at one of the mid-majors that was recruiting me young. But, obviously when I got to Vincennes and I saw his expectations for me was sky's the limit, I ended up being one of the highest recruited players in the nation, and it was just something that I'm very fortunate for. It was a path not a lot of guys travel, but it's really something I take pride in, and I'm really happy that I went through that.
We're fortunate to have you as a part of the Windy City Bulls. We appreciate it, Michael. Thanks for the time. We'll let you get ready for tip-off. But thanks very much for joining the pod today. Where can everybody find you on social media?
Thanks for having me, guys. If you're looking for me on social media, you can find me at Mychal Mulder on Twitter. If you're looking for me on Instagram, you can find me at Mike Mulder 11.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael. Good luck in the game tonight. Hopefully we can have you back soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Huge thanks to Mychal Mulder for joining us while the Bulls were on the road in D.C. taking on the Capital City Go-Go. Mychal definitely one of the bright spots on the Windy City Bulls this season with some white-hot shooting, 53% from the field, 51% from three. Thanks again to Mychal. Next up on the Windy City Hoops podcast, we've got a couple of broadcasters from your Windy City Bulls pre- and post-game show, Ryan Fahey and Chris Rouse, taking you through a recap of the Bulls' recent matchup against Raptors 905, as well as what's been going on overall with the Bulls. As again, getting off to a little bit of a rocky start with the 1-4 record, looking to rebound and get back to 500.
Alongside Chris Rouse coming off the TV broadcast, I'm Ryan Fahey with you here courtside at the Sears Center Arena. Well, one positive is that the third quarter, the Bulls outscored an opponent in that one. It was by 5, but there are some positives to take away from this contest, Chris.
Yeah, the Bulls just had a rough start to this ball game, so I'm going to go the complete opposite and start with the negatives here. But they had a rough start to this ball game. They had a rough start to this ball game, and they got down big early. But you're right, they did have a pretty good third quarter. Outscored 905, 27-22. They had good performances out of players. They got 19 from C.J. Fair, 15 from V.J. Beacham and Mychal Mulder, and they got 16 out of Riley Alkins off the bench. So the Bulls have proven that they can get depth out of their players as far as scoring, but they ran up against a Raptors 905 team that had too many weapons. They had 6 players in double figures. Yeah, 6 players in double figures, as you mentioned. Uche Ufebu, along with Deng Adele, Chris Boucher, Jordan Lloyd, former Windy City Bull Kay Felder, and Christian Watford, each with at least 12 points respectively. Leading the way, Chris Boucher, 24 points, 16 rebounds, 3 assists. Not much you can say anymore than just how impressive he is as a player and what he brings to the table. In just over 32 minutes of action, 9 of 19 from the field, 6 of 10 from downtown, and to any G League team that has to go up against him, good luck. Yeah, 24-16, 4 blocked shots in this game. But you know what? Going back to the Bulls, 6 of 30 from three-point land. They were shooting 1 for 13 at half. That's not going to get it done at all. And they're going to, moving forward, they're going to have to work on their three-point shooting, work on getting good three-point shots, not just taking it because of there. You got to get shots that are in rhythm. But this is the Bulls team. They lost by 20. And honestly, they played pretty hard in this game, just had some rough luck shooting the ball, especially when you take a guy that is your leader in scoring and assists off the floor and Tyler Ewing's being hurt. You know, it's interesting you say they need to work on their three-point shooting because that's the one thing that we haven't really needed them to improve upon. They were second in the G League coming into action tonight, shooting just under 42% from behind the three-point line. And as you mentioned, 6 of 30 from downtown. They got really cold from behind the arc tonight, and we've seen now through these 5 games so far this season, they've been living and dying by the three-point line, and it really kind of showed here tonight. Yeah, when I say work at the three-point, I mean the right shot. We know this team can knock the shots down. Mychal Mulder's been knocking them down. Kaiser Gates, he's been knocking those shots down. Farrakhan Hall even has stepped up and hit a few this season. It's just they rush a lot of shots that aren't they're not necessary. They take shots where it's 18 on the shot clock just because you have it. Just because you have the look, it's not always the best look. Sometimes it's fool's gold, and that's, I think, what hurt them in this game in the first half. Yeah, one of the keys that we were both kind of mentioning in our halftime show was we need to see this Windy City team come out of the locker room with a strong start. It was better based on previous third quarters we've seen, whether it was here at the Sears Center or seeing them on the road to Capital City or Grand Rapids, especially if we recall that game from last week. They just seemed tired midway through the third quarter, and you can't have that and show that as your body language against the Raptors 905 team that'll kind of smell the blood in the water and really pounce on it. And this is why one of my constant keys to the games is play full 48. You got to play the full 48. The Bulls, they either start strong and finish soft, or they start soft and finish strong. But the thing is, if you start soft and try to finish strong, you're already down 20 points, so you have to expend a lot of energy to come back. We saw that in the game at Grand Rapids when they had the 40-point second quarter and looked out of gas in the second half. And we saw that in this game today. Had the rough first half, had a good third quarter, but Raptors 905 were already up almost 20 points, and they went for the kill in the fourth quarter. Riley Alkins off the bench playing 30 minutes tonight, 16 points on 7 of 10 shooting to go along with 6 rebounds and 3 assists. Coming off that bench row now that V.J. Beacham has gotten the start in his spot, it seems as if we've seen Alkins get off to a slow start coming off the bench because he really picked up his production and it really escalated a lot, especially in that fourth quarter. Yeah, I think Riley Alkins is starting to finally find his rhythm. I think that's probably why Charlie Henry put him on the bench for this game today. He wanted to try him out off the bench. Let's see how that works for him because when he's been starting, he's had some pretty off shooting games. So he says, you know what, let's try to bring him off the bench. Let's see if he can provide a spark. And I thought he did a good job of doing that. Had 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. So a good all-around game from Riley Alkins. You just need to see more of that for him moving forward, especially if you put him in the starting lineup. Now, an interesting note here, and you kind of mentioned this at halftime, points in the paint. Bulls outscored Raptors 905 in the paint, 54-38. When you have that kind of a margin that's in your favor, you're going to win more games than you're going to lose. But
that wasn't the case here tonight at all. And
Yeah.
it was kind of, not to cut you off there, but we didn't really kind of see that effect of the game work in Windy City's favor, especially and even see it on the scoreboard.
Well, yeah, because Raptors 905, they took 5 more threes than the Bulls did. The Bulls took 30. They took 35. But the thing is, Raptors 905 hit 11 more. They went 17 of 35. Bulls went 6 of 30. And that's 48% for Raptors 905 to 20 for the Bulls. Bulls just couldn't hit any outside shots. And then when you look at the field goal percentage, it was 47 to 38 in favor of Raptors 905. So the thing is, in this game, Raptors 905, yeah, they were having problems getting to the paint. But they said, you know what, yeah, we might be struggling in the paint, but we can knock our shots down. Let's see if you can do the same. And there was a few times they just let the Bulls shoot because they knew they were off.
And as we look ahead here for the Bulls, they're going to hit the road now for the next couple of weeks. They got trips to the Memphis Hustle, Grand Rapids Drive again. They also have a meeting with the Wisconsin Herd, and then they go to Raptors 905 on the 21st of November before we return and see these Bulls on the 23rd here at the Sears Center Arena when they see the Long Island Nets come to town. What do they need to work on for these next couple weeks when they are going to be the road warriors, so to speak?
Well, first things first, you need Tyler Eulis back healthy. You just lost 22 points per game. You lost 8 assists per game in the game tonight because he was a late scratch. It was officially listed as illness, so that's an undisclosed injury for us. We still haven't figured that one out all the way. But also, you got to play a full 48. You can't keep going into these games having these strong starts like they did against Grand Rapids and letting the team come back in the second half and take the victory from you, as they also did against Capital City. And you cannot come out of these games slow like they did at Grand Rapids and in this game today and then try to get everything back in the second half. You want to try to at least stay within arm's reach. You got to play the full 48 minutes. You don't want to put yourself in an uphill battle almost every time you go out there.
Our thanks to Ryan Fahey and Chris Rouse. You can catch Ryan on the pre- and post-game show for the Windy City Bulls on SportsTownChicago.com and catch Chris on the TV call for the Windy City Bulls on Facebook Live and NBC Sports Chicago. Windy City Bulls on a bit of a road trip here coming up. Next game against the Memphis Hustle on November 14th in Memphis. Then up on Friday, the Grand Rapids Drive in Grand Rapids on the 16th. Back-to-back on the 17th against the Wisconsin Herd. The Bulls will return home on November 23rd against the Long Island Nets. Look for tickets at windycitybulls.com/tickets. Coming up, too, on the promotional schedule for the Windy City Bulls on December 3rd, we've got the Illinois Bicentennial Celebration. And then on December 14th, Dog Night at Sears Center Arena. So bring out your pooch on that night. First 90 dogs will receive a Bulls t-shirt. Again, look for your tickets at windycitybulls.com/tickets. That'll about do it for this edition of the Windy City Hoops podcast. Thanks for listening, Windy City Nation. I'm Joe Kessenich. Until next time, go Bulls.